So, your LG washer has decided to stop working. It's flashing a DE or maybe a dHE error, and your clothes are trapped inside. Yeah, it's a super frustrating situation, but don't worry. In this explainer, we are going to break down exactly what those codes mean and walk you through step by step how to get it fixed. You know the feeling, right? The cycle is almost done. And then, nothing. The machine just stops. You've got this weird code on the screen, and that door is locked up tight. It's a really common problem, but that doesn't make it any less of a headache when it's your laundry in there. But hey, the good news is you've come to the right place. We're going to tackle this thing logically. We'll start with the super simple stuff first and work our way to the permanent fix. So let's get that door open and get your washer back to doing its job. Okay, first things first, what do these codes actually mean? If you're seeing DE, that's just a general door error. The machine can't tell if the door is locked securely. Simple as that. Now, if you're seeing dHE, pay close attention to that H. That H stands for heater. This code only shows up on models with steam or sanitized cycles, and it's pointing a finger directly at a problem with the heating element that's built right into the door lock. Knowing which one you have is a huge first step. All right, before we start taking anything apart, let's try the quick and easy stuff. These are things you can do in the next 5 minutes, no tools needed, that honestly might just solve the whole problem. First, the classic power reset. Seriously, just unplug the machine from the wall, go make a cup of coffee, wait about 5, maybe 10 minutes, and then plug it back in. Sometimes all it needs is a good old-fashioned reboot to clear little electronic hiccup. Step 2, let's get your clothes out of there. Look for a small panel on the bottom front of your washer. Pop it open, and you should find a little cord or tab. Give that a good pull, and it'll manually release the door lock. And finally, with the door open, take a good look. Is there a sock jammed in the latch, a bunch of lint caked onto the rubber seal, anything that could physically stop it from closing properly? And listen, here's a really important heads up. When you go to pull that emergency release tab, be ready for water. There might be a lot of it sitting in the drum. So before you pull it, grab a shallow pan and a couple of old towels. Trust me, it'll save you from a giant mess on the floor. Okay, so if the quick fixes didn't do the trick, it's time to play detective. And right now, your best tool isn't a screwdriver or a multimeter. It's your ears. What you hear, or just as importantly, what you don't hear, is going to tell us a whole lot. All right, go ahead and close the washer door and try to start a new cycle. Now listen really, really closely right near the latch. Do you hear a nice, sharp click? That's actually a good sign. It means the lock is getting the signal and it's trying to do its job. What about a buzzing or a whirring sound? That tells us the little motor inside the lock is getting power, but something's probably jammed up or a gear is broken. But what if it's dead silent? No sound at all? That's a big clue that the lock has completely failed, or maybe the main computer isn't even sending power to it. And for you folks with the dHE error, listen for a very faint, low hum. That's the sound of the heater working. If you don't hear it, that heater is almost certainly burned out. So, based on the sounds you just heard, all the clues are pointing in one direction. It's time to get our hands dirty and take a close look at the #1 suspect for this crime, the door lock assembly itself. Look, let's just be real here. 9 times out of 10, maybe even more, the source of a DE or dHE error is that door lock assembly. It's a hard-working part, it's got mechanical pieces, electrical contacts, and it's always around moisture. Sooner or later, it's just gonna wear out. So once you get the lock out, which usually just takes peeling back the big rubber gasket on the door, you need to look for these dead giveaways. You're looking for any signs of burned or melted plastic. See any green or white crusty stuff? That's corrosion on the metal pins. How about any obvious cracks in the plastic body of the lock? Any of these things are a smoking gun. You found your problem. Now, if you've got a multimeter and you want to be 100% sure, you can test it. Set your meter to ohms, which is the symbol that looks like a little horseshoe. As you can see here, a good lock motor should give you a reading somewhere between 100 and 500 ohms. If your meter shows OL for open line or just reads 0, then that part is toast. It's a fantastic way to confirm the part is bad before you spend money on a new one. So here's your roadmap. This chart basically connects the problem directly to the solution. General lock failure, you need a new lock assembly. Confirm the heater went out on your Steam model, you need the specific version with the heater built in. The main takeaway here is that you pretty much always replace the entire lock unit. They don't really sell the tiny little pieces inside it separately. Okay, so you know what's broken. Now for the $1 million question, or hopefully the not-so $1 million question. What's this going to cost? Let's break down your options. The numbers really tell the story here, don't they? If you order the part online and do it yourself, you're probably looking at somewhere between 60 and 120 bucks. If you call a repair technician, that cost is going to jump way up, probably to the $250 to $400 range. And then, of course, a brand new washer starts at $700 and goes up from there. You can see why, for most people, the DIY repair is just a massive money saver. All right, with the fix covered, let's talk about the future. Once you have your washer running perfectly again, there are a few really easy habits you can get into to make sure you're not doing this all over again in a couple of years. These are your keys to a happy machine. Number 1, and this is the most important one, leave the door cracked open between washes. Let it air out. It stops moisture and mold from building up. 2, take 30 seconds to wipe the big rubber gasket dry. 3, every couple of months, clean out that little drain pump filter at the bottom. It's usually behind that same little door as the emergency release. 4, if you have a steam model, run a cleaning cycle with some white vinegar once a month. And finally, it never hurts to just do a quick Google search for your model number to see if there are any official recalls or service notes out there. These little things make a huge difference. And we have to end on the most important point of all. That door lock is not just there to keep water from spilling out, it is a critical safety device. It's what stops the drum from spinning at 1,000 RPM when the door is open. You might see tricks online to bypass it for a quick test, but you should absolutely, positively never bypass this part permanently. Fixing it the right way isn't just about getting rid of an error code. It's about making sure your appliance is safe for you and your family. Do it right and you'll have a safe, reliable machine for years to come.